Hey guys, we're going to be going over today how to do a distal taper and forge your sword to length. I'm excited to show this to you, so here we go. So what you see me doing here is I'm actually working the tip first. As we go through the sword, it's easier to start with the tip because the distal taper usually ends here. It's the most shallow, if you will, or the thinnest at the edge of the blade. So I always start with the tip and work it pretty solid, back and forth. Please note that between heats I am flipping the sword over and working the other side. So this is the second sword that we're working on today. This is the Messer sword. It's essentially like a giant sword slash knife. It's going to be pretty cool. I'm excited to make one. It's my first time making one. As you can see, I'm still working the tip on this sword in particular. And like I said, I'm working on two different swords today. So maybe you can distinguish as we're forging which two I'm working on. You don't actually see it, but between heats I'm flipping the blade over back and forth on each side as I put it in the forge. That way I don't have to remember to flip it before I start forging. And here you still see me working the tip a little more, trying to get it just a touch thinner. Here you see me move back a little bit further and down the blade as we're moving forward. You always work towards the tip. It makes it a little bit easier to keep things straight and even as we progress through the sword. Here's the tricky part. As we progress through each pass of heating and working the distal taper in, the sword tends to go into a banana shape. That's to prevent that, you switch it back and forth. Like I said before, between heats, you're going to work one side, then flip it over and work the other side. But sometimes you need to straighten it out, which is what you see me doing here between both swords. I'm also taking a quick moment to make sure that the measurements are progressing the way that I want them to. So this is a Viking Age sword. It's in the British Museum. It's a Wheeler variant Type 6. It's the first time I've done a Type 6 sword. I'm pretty excited to do it. We're going to actually do, as we go through the sword, we're going to be doing some metal inlays into the sword itself. Once we get the fullers ground in and such like that, it's going to be pretty extensive. It's a lot of first times for me. I'm excited to get going. This is a really good angle. I didn't realize I caught this angle as good as I did. You can definitely see how thin the tip is getting compared to the rest of the sword. It shows me that I'm right about the right thickness of the tip that I'm going for. Because as we go through the sword build and we start grinding in fullers and making sure everything's straight and even on the 2x72 grinder, you can see in the background there, it's going to even further thin in the distal taper, so it makes it a lot easier, kind of a natural progression. quick moment again, fixing the banana effect as you forge the sword out to length. It does this naturally. Hold the sword as flat as you can against the anvil and lightly tap down the length of the blade. You don't want to hit it too hard because then you're going to start making divots into the silhouette of the blade. Not only does the silhouette tend to get the banana effect, but so does the flat portion of the blade. So you need to make sure to keep it all in check as you're working, because you can stay on top of it. It's a lot easier to fix as you're working the blade right now versus later on when it's cold. If you don't stay on top of it, it's actually going to cause your sword to bend in a quench. So you want to make sure to keep everything as straight and as even as possible through the rough grinding phase. You can fix some of it in the grinding phase, but it's so much easier if you do it right now. So in this portion, I noticed that my tip was getting a little wonky on the messer sword, so I wanted to take a minute and really adjust that and make it good and straight again. I don't like how the tip was flaring up as much. You look like literally a banana on the tip, so I wanted to take a moment and fix that before it got any worse. And that's that. You can see that the messer sword came in between 29 and 30 inches long. That's exactly where I wanted it. This is going to be a camp sword, so it's going to take a beating, and I want it to be good and thick and not quite as long. The Wheeler Variant 6 came in between 30 and 31 inches long. I wanted it to be closer to 30, so I have but having it a little extra gives me just a little bit more room to work. Thanks for watching. If you found this interesting or you got something out of it, please consider subscribing and sharing the video. It helps me out a lot. Thanks again. We'll see you on the next one.